Welcome, 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 trivalent beings of spirit, mind, and body. Time for the Ask Doc Alkebulanese Solutions show, sponsored by Prometheus Reborn Universal Foundation, also known as Proof. Its mission is to spread the trivalent understanding noetics uncovered by Dr. Y.O.U. Carlisle Woods, featuring stand-up philosophy that includes anthropology, psychology, biology, metaphysics, medicine, psychodrama, comedy, and music, self-performed and produced by the Hip Hop Trio Plus and Global Entertainment through a genre called edutainment, educating while entertaining, coined by KRS-One. The host of this wonderful show is Dr. Y.O.U. Carlisle Woods, RN, MD, MED-D1, and myself, co-host, Dr. Hamida Rockman Woods, MED, PhD, MED-D2.
I have the PH, and he has
the M.
We both have D's. That makes us Doc squared.
Yes.
Greetings, all. Today's title is How Did We Get There?
Oh, yeah. Good question. I think that it deserves a good answer. As any of my regular listeners and students have heard many times, the most important part of any language are the questions. I only happen to speak about 12 languages, and in each one of them, the most important part is the questions. Because if you ask the right question, even if you get the wrong answer, you're heading the right direction.
Ashay.
You ask the wrong question, you get the right answer, you still jacked up. So, how did we get there? First answer to that question is a question. And that question is, where? How do we get where? Well, in order to give you that response, I must give you two different answers. First answer will be personal. The second answer is going to be political. Mm-hmm. Now, because I'm me, that means that I'm strange, I'm going to give you those answers in reverse order. Okay. Political. How did we get where? January 6th committee is doing its business. The January 6th committee is holding court on where we are as a nation. Mm-hmm. We had a picture of the January 6th committee. It was picture number 1. And that picture number 1 shows you exactly what was going on at the January 6th committee. Now, let me backtrack. January the 1st, 2021. Okay, 6 people died on the 6th. 5 officers, 1 rioter. Why? Over the last 5 years, we've been having some rather profound changes that have made a whole lot of pink people rather anxious and fearful. One of the major places where that has occurred is the grand old state of Texas. Texas had more people from Texas in that January the 6th riot than any other state in the Union. They were convinced that they were doing what was right. Yeah. A little place called Frisco, Texas, I'd like to use as an example. And in Frisco, Texas, they had approximately 60% of their population was pink until 5 years ago. Then suddenly that decreased down to about 40%. That 40% felt the loss of their population, their numbers, and they started getting really fearful about other changes that may be following that up. They wanted to have changes that reflected their predominance. And they wanted this predominance to be evidenced in the churches, in the police, in the schools. They didn't want anybody to learn anything about critical race theory. They didn't want anybody to hear about racism and the causes of it. They didn't want anybody to hear about the Civil War, and especially the part that slavery played in the Civil War.
No, they don't.
Why? Because it made them even more fearful that things may be headed back toward them as payback. And we all know that payback is, I ain't gonna say it, y'all just think it. But they were very, very concerned, and the region's increase in the past 10 to 20 years of construction, agricultural production, and all of its economic security had been fueled by immigrant labor. Imagine that. Immigrants and non-pink labor was the thing that caused the creation and maintenance of most of their improvements in their communities. Suddenly, those energies were not available. And as a result, nobody's moving to Texas. Nobody's moving to Frisco. And the people who are there don't feel very comfortable because they feel like they are being overrun by people who are non-pink. Imagine that. Okay. Frisco County is in one of the 4 counties that asked for a review of the 2020 election because they figured some bad things must have happened. They hoped some bad things happened, so because they wanted to get line 44.5 back into office. We will get more into this a little later on. Now, Michael Burnett is a guy that we need to introduce right about now. Michael Burnett is the FBI counterterrorism leader. And this is one of the organizations and institutions that the far right believed encouraged their violence. They figured the executive office of our trivalent leadership, Congress, judges, executives. They believe that the executives, which include the FBI and the CIA, were supporting them and actually wanted them to be violent. January 6 rioters were arrested and charged so far for the least violent offenses. Trespassing, entered the building without permission, unauthorized assembly. Yeah, that's what most of the January 6 rioters have been charged with. And they figured this was somebody going easy on them. Proud Boys, 3%, Oath Keepers, started attending school boards and election commission meetings to oppose education in critical race theory or pandemic protection, any mass mandate that required either immunization or mask wearing. They were against it because they were both ignorant. They didn't understand what they were against or why, and stupid. They did not want to change from their ignorance. Robert Pape at the University of Chicago, another gentleman that we have to go into to find out how we got there.
Yes.
How did we get there? Robert Pape stated that 8.2% or approximately 20 million Americans, believe that Joey B is not the duly elected president of the United States. Bunch of them in Texas.
Yeah.
And I say to them, read your history. That number, 20 million Americans who thought that Joey B wasn't elected, was also the same number or percentage who thought that racism was right. That non-pink people were inferior to pink people, and pink people should lead everything. Now, what you have
That's
to
Robert
understand.
right there, Doc.
That is Robert. That's him right there. It looked just like him. His face looks like it's right on the front side of his head. That's what he looks like. But Professor Pate states accurately 8.2%. But believe it or not, the number used to be 35 to 40% of Americans. 35 to 40% of Americans believed
Yes.
that pink was king, that nobody who wasn't pink should ever lead anything, and that only pink people had the right to be citizens. This 8.2% is way down, and it is the cause of most of these people in Texas feeling a little fearful, feeling a little upset. You see, marches, speeches, and politics from 1922, when 30,000 KKK members marched down Pennsylvania Avenue in D.C. Ooh, yeah, look at that, y'all.
Wow.
This is active members of the KKK
1922.
in Washington, D.C., marching down Pennsylvania Avenue. Now, I lived in D.C. for quite a while. I also lived in Baltimore for an extended period of time. Something like this would never happen today without opposite crowds of BLM and several other anti-racist groups
That's right.
being there to oppose them. Y'all remember Charlottesville? How many was it then? Was it anywhere near this number? That's why they're frightened. That's why they are trying all this crazy stuff to overturn elections.
Hey, Doc,
Yes, sir.
quick question.
Yes, sir, please.
You heard of the Black Wall Street where they bombed that community of black
Yes,
people?
sir.
Right.
I'm very, very familiar with it.
What do you think would have happened if somebody would have bombed these Ku Klux Klan?
Ooh wee.
It would have been a war.
Ooh wee. I don't know, my brother. I cannot say. But the idea is quite stimulating.
Am I supposed to say that on the internet, man? I don't
Yes, you are. Because you were just asking a question. We already talked about that. Questions. how
Probably would have
important they
made the
are.
world a better place because not all white people are KKK.
That's
Just
true.
all
No,
of them right
not
there.
all.
Just all of them right there.
Yeah,
Just
not
all of 'em
not
right there.
not all pink people are KKK.
And not all
That's
people who
right.
think they're pink are pink.
Are pink. That's true.
Come on. DNA USA study from Oxford said that 100% of people who think they're pink who were born in the South are not pink. They're actually high-degree hybrids.
A moment for a side note. We have technical problems today, so we won't be able to take phone calls. But we would like for you to go to YouTube or Facebook that you're looking at and make a comment,
And,
subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and share with others.
Right.
Absolutely.
The regular number is incapacitated right now. So
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
If you ask us a question on Facebook, we will try to our very best to get to it during the show and answer.
That's
or
right.
YouTube.
Or
Or
YouTube. That's
Come
right.
on, do it. Okie doke. FBI Director Christopher Wray in March of 2021 stated that the problems of domestic terrorism has been growing for decades and is metastasizing all over the United States. and it is moving into the mainstream. I have some news for Director Ray. It's always been in the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Notice the picture from the 1920s.
That's the problem with
Doc,
the system.
Yes, sir.
You said Christopher Ray on this notes here. You said Christopher Wright. Which one is it?
It's Ray.
Okay.
It's Ray. I apologize. We're going to get to a right later on.
W-R-A-Y.
Right.
Okay. Is that him?
That's him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the head of the FBI. That sure looked like him to me. I even like his hair. That's the same way. He stated the problem of domestic ceremony has been growing and heading into mainstream. I say no, no, no. It's always been in the mainstream. And what did the people down in Charlottesville chant? The Jews will not replace us. Why do they feel that way? What I just got through showing you. Because they used to be 35, 40% of America. Now they are 8% of America. They used to be about right at 100 million strong. Now they are down to 20 million and going lower. Again, because their children don't want to be them.
No.
Nope. Their children, the millennials, are entirely too intelligent. Smartphones have destroyed the ignorance and stupidity that has been it's been the source of the power of most of these pink male groups to coerce people to believe lies.
Wow. It's been the power and the source. Huh?
Oh, absolutely. It is the power and the source, because you would not, okay, wait a minute. Danielle, wonder why the genocide in Africa isn't being discussed. No, you're not. You know
McGee.
exactly why it's not being discussed. It's not being discussed because they don't want us to talk about it. They don't want us to talk about it because they don't want our attention focused on it. They don't want our attention focused on it because they think we may stop them.
Yes. And Sister Brenda, thank you so much. We're going to keep on keeping on with support like people like you,
Absolutely.
Danielle, and others.
Absolutely. Brenda. I love you.
To both of you, may the Lord bless you and the ancestors protect you.
Absolutely. Oh, my God. Okay. Why do they feel that way? Why do pink people, especially pink males, feel that way? Well, biology, history, anthropology, genetics, religion, spirituality, you name the subject. All of them say that being pink is what they call biologically, scientifically, being recessive. Being recessive means that anything else will knock you out. You cross pink with Native American, what comes out is Native American. You cross pink with Alkebulanese, what comes out is Alkebulanese. You cross pink with Asian, what comes out is Asian.
Yes.
You cross pink with anything, and what comes out is the anything.
Yes.
Not pink. That's called being a recessive trait.
The work of the Most High.
Absolutely. You read my mind and my spirit, because I did not do these things. Neither did any human being on this planet. This was all engineered and created by God.
Yes. Mother, Father, God.
You have any questions or problems? Talk to God about it.
Hey.
Now, recessives are meant to be added to, not replaced. I am 11% pink. I'm 11% Irish. So is my wife.
Yes.
Exactly. 11%, both of us. That's what pink is meant for. It's meant to be added to. That's what any recessive plant, a recessive dog, or sheep, cow, horse, it doesn't matter. That's the science and biology that they are afraid of.
Yes.
I'm sorry, if you are afraid of biology, science, and history, then you're afraid of the works of the Most High God.
Ashe. Y'all know.
But just to show you the difference between the politics and social thinking of scientific medical reasons, what do you do if something dangerous is spreading? Like Director Ray said, it's spreading. What do you do? if it sprays her. Say, since I'm a doctor, something dangerous, cancer, spreading. Okay, cancer is spreading. And even the Director Ray used the same word that we use when cancer is spreading, metastasizing. Well, when cancer or anything dangerous is metastasizing, the first thing you do is what we call in medicine debulk, which means take out the main tumor.
Okay.
That's the first thing you do. You take out the source of the metastasizing danger. Those are the organizations that are the source of what he stated was spreading. Knock them out. None of our security services has done that as of yet, but I guarantee you, about a third of the members of the Oath Keepers, about a third of the members of the Proud Boys, about a third of the members of the KKK, and about a third of the members of the Three Percenters are all undercover FBI and CIA agents. That's how they work. Don't believe me? Ask the black Muslims.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what happened with
That's what happened to them.
Yeah. To them, period. True.
Yeah.
I accept that, yes.
As almost all of the Alkebulanese power organizations that came up in the late 50s, early 60s, on into early 70s. They were infiltrated by the FBI and destroyed from within.
Assassinations.
Oh, assassination was that was their main thing. Why you think Malcolm died? It wasn't an accident. Our government knew what was going on, knew what was happening, knew what was coming down, and said, okay, we're going to go ahead and allow this to happen.
Yes.
They didn't tell you that there was about 6 other Islamic leaders who were killed at the same time.
Yes. Or attempted assassination, like my deceased husband.
Right.
Yes.
My wife's ex-husband, Clyde Rockman, yeah, he was shot in the head.
In 1966, when that happened.
The same
in
week
St.
that
Louis,
Malcolm.
Missouri.
Oh, yeah. Took him to the hospital that I worked in as a nurse and as a doctor. Okay. But once you excise or remove the main danger, then you use danger removal means, in case of cancer, that's cancer drugs, through the whole system to remove any vestiges that will later end up turning into a tumor. So what did Joey B pick as the national strategy for countering domestic terrorism in June 2021? Well, Joey B actually came up with a means of combating this metastasizing danger. He came up with 4 different means. Means number 1, information sharing inside and outside of government. Okay, that should help keep things out the dark. Number 2, prevent extremist group recruitment. How is my question. Again, that sounds like trying to debulk the main source of your problem. But how is my question. I guarantee 1/3 of their membership is, All right, number 3, improve prosecution. Really? That don't seem like that's worked so far. As previously stated, most of those from these groups who have been prosecuted for very, 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 very mild offenses. Trespassing, entering a building without permission. All these are fines. At the very most, 90 days. That doesn't sound like improved prosecution. Number 4, tackling endemic causes like racism. And how you gonna do that, Joey B? Since you got nobody working on it. We're going to come back to this a little bit later. Merrick Garland stated that the only way to find sustainable solutions is not only to disrupt and deter, again, that's debulk or remove the primary lesion, tumor, or disability, but he said also to address the root causes. And the root causes are ignorance, stupidity, fear, and hate.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing about those things? Anything? Do you have anything that fights ignorance? America is the most ignorant industrialized country on the globe. And we're 20-some odd in math.
Oh,
Ty,
Ty.
hey, fam.
Hi,
Hey.
fam. Hi,
Yeah,
Ty.
y'all.
We appreciate
That's Georgia,
you.
y'all. That's Georgia talking to us. That's
Yeah,
Georgia.
that's Mick's sister.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
That's
Mick
my
B.
girl.
She
Yeah.
says, "Hey, family."
Hey.
Hey.
Yes, she do.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you for your support,
Thank you,
Tyra.
Ty.
Put a smile on our
Tyra's doing
face.
it. Yes, indeed. And I don't usually like people who put a smile on my wife's face, but Tyra, you can do that. Okay, let's get back to Merrick Garland. He stated that to address the root causes. Okay. I got something to address the root causes.
Yes, we do.
And I've had something to address the root causes for most of my life.
Yes.
And we say it every day at the end of our show.
Yeah.
We tell you,
Peace.
which stands for proper education always corrects error. That's what P stands for.
Yeah.
Now, let me give you this in actuality. Peace started in 1954. I know because I was 4 years old. I had been frightened by a spider. And I wanted to know about spiders because they frightened me. I was also somewhat concerned about snakes because people are always telling me when me and my brother went to play on this vacant lot, y'all got to watch out for snakes out there. So I wanted to know what snakes I need to watch out for.
Was the grass out there?
Yeah.
On the vacant lot?
Oh, yeah. It was overgrown. The weeds were
Okay.
about, 4 foot, 5 foot
All
tall.
right. For
even
some reason,
taller.
I was seeing concrete. No, grass.
No. This is 1954.
Okay.
Okay. So, one Thursday, the bookmobile pulls up in front of my house. We're really two houses down from my house. And I had been waiting for the bookmobile. You must understand, I learned to read when I was about 2. And I've been reading all my mother's nursing books and psychology books and anatomy and physiology books. Those were the first things I learned to read.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
I am 4 years old and I am standing, I was really sitting on the steps of my house waiting for the bookmobile to drive up. The bookmobile drove up. I walked over to the bookmobile. I was the first person in line. I walked into the bookmobile. The librarian who's there gave me this little funny look that they always give me when I come on the bookmobiles because I'm only 4.
Just a little thing. Like,
Yeah, and
what
I'm
you
there by
doing out
myself.
here?
I walk straight down the row on the left side near the back. They have these big picture books about this size, and it has one on reptiles. So I started reading it, and I read that book on reptiles, and I also read another one on spiders, and it is made known to me that the only snakes I got to worry about are a cottonmouth and a rattlesnake.
Okay.
And most rattlesnakes aren't in St. Louis, Missouri. And most cottonmouths are only near water. So I don't have to worry about that. The only other snake that's poisonous in the United States is the coral snake, and that's out in warm areas, Texas, Arizona, and so forth and so on.
Okay.
The only spiders I had to worry about was a black widow and a brown recluse. The only ones of them that I really need to worry about is a widow. Because the brown recluse is normally found in wooded areas outside, and they run from anything. The only way they are going to give you any problems if you corner one and they can't get away. And I know what they look like by looking at the book, so I wasn't going to corner one and not let it get away. I walked off of that bookmobile with none of the fear, anxiety, and depression that I was feeling when I walked onto that bookmobile, because the ignorance that I had was eliminated by understanding. Now, I'm 4 years old, and it occurs to me, fear and ignorance is eliminated by understanding. So my job, the whole rest of my life, and that was, 68 years ago? 68 years ago, was ruled by that event. Anything that I had any anxiety or fear about, all I had to do was learn about it. And the anxiety and the fear went totally and completely away. Now, pink people have been lied to, misled, and abused by their own leaders. I am a 4-year-old child, and I realize fear, ignorance, stupidity, all eliminated by understanding. And it is the one thing that the governments of Europe refused to let Europeans have, is understanding. They wanted them ignorant because it was easier to control them. That's why America right now, one of the most industrialized countries on this planet, is one of the most ignorant. And these people who are fearful want to make us more so, because they understand that only by keeping that ignorance intact does their supporters support them. Unless you keep that ignorance intact, that's what happened to their children. That's why their children don't want to be them.
Yes.
That's why their children are into diversity.
Yes.
That's why their children want to have friends who don't look like them. That's why their children don't want to be racist. That's why their children want to understand life and living and history and science and all the things that pink people want to keep from them by denying peace, by denying that proper education always corrects error, by denying that proper education always corrects everything. That's where the problem is.
And that's peace. True peace.
But that's where we are right now, y'all.
Right.
That is what is going on. And that is the life that we're trying to live.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in.
That's the world we live in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the Hip Hop Trio Plus wrote a song like that called That's the World We Live In. And we would like to perform a little bit of it for you right now. It's going to start off with Shelly K doing her Shelly K.
Yes.
Listen to this, y'all.
This is the world we live in. You can choose to transcend it. This is the world we live in. You can choose to transcend it. This is with a bunch of challenges. But luckily enough, the Most High got us blessed, giving us a grace that we naturally possess. So why do we sit around acting like we don't? Got so many gifts that we naturally own. We get here for greater things, we can feel it in the soul. Gotta go deep, gotta search the unknown. This is the world we live in. You can choose to transcend it. This is the world we live in. You can choose to transcend it.
Taught to obey, given paths to follow, not based on you. It's all kind of hollow. Your own understanding is best for your being. It's all about knowing. It's all about seeing that you. God sees the best. You believe it's all in your hands. Don't be deceived.
Well, I got a few questions, because I really been guessing. What would you do if you really knew you? We're on a mission.
Teaching you to listen,
Make images of what you hear.
Listening to spirit
not mind,
It hears it, forgot what I feel.
not near.
to the power of you release.
This is the world we live in. You can choose to transcend it. This is the world we live in. You can choose to transcend it. You can
Yes, you most definitely can choose
Yes.
to transcend it. You can deny ignorance, you can reject stupidity, and you can transcend above this world that we live in.
Yes.
You can do that through the trivalent understanding noetics in 133 seconds.
Yes.
We teach you. We teach you how your spirit functions, how to improve its functioning, how your spirit controls your mind, how to improve that control, how your spirit and mind control your body, and how to improve that control. According to all the best VA physicians that the United States government has to offer, I'm supposed to be crippled. I fell down a mountain when I was 18 in Korea with a Preak-10 radio on my back, and it separated my spine. According to them, and they told me this in 2002, I had approximately 2 years to live. Who is singing and rapping? Ty? Okay, Ty is asking who's singing and rapping.
That's
Okay,
us.
what's
Hippo
a
Trio Plus.
soulmate, and how do you know when you've met one? Okay, Ty asked that.
Yeah.
Are there several of them?
And she
Yes.
asked all three questions.
She asked all three questions. Okay, I'm going to start at the top. Hold on, but let me finish what I was doing first. You can use the trivalent understanding noetics to transcend what your body is heir to. Most people cannot believe I'm 72 because both my body and my mind are much more active than people who are 50 years younger than me. Yeah, that's because I use my spirit and mind differently than they do. And my body obeys. Again, they told me I had 2 years to be ambulatory, to walk in 2002 because of the spinal stenosis I have, the worst case of spinal stenosis they have ever seen. That was 20 years ago. I'm not only walking, I'm dancing just as good as I want to.
Oh, he does.
Oh, I do. I really do.
We enjoy working
oh,
out
yeah.
together. Tai Chi, walking,
Yeah,
dancing.
we were over at Zelma George Rec Center this morning
Yes.
working out. But let's go back to Ty now and answer her questions.
Yeah.
Mick, can we see her questions again, please, sir?
Sure can.
Thank you so much. What's a soulmate, and how do you know when you've met one? A soulmate is a spirit that you have had a relationship with in a prior existence. That relationship that you had in the prior existence was enabling for you both. And you are still looking for each other in other lives. How do you know when you met one? Because you feel it. You feel like you know them. You feel like you're familiar with them. Mm-hmm. You feel exactly what I said, like you've already had a relationship with them before, but you never met them before in this existence. Mm-hmm. Are there several of them? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. When my wife and I had our DNA done, it showed that I had the oldest DNA on Earth. Now, not me personally, but yeah, me personally. Before there was any countries, they just called human beings hunter-gatherers. They didn't say that your DNA came from such and such a country because there was no such a country. That oldest DNA is called hunter-gatherer DNA. I am 11% hunter-gatherer DNA, which means my DNA has been around about 1.5 million, 2 million years. That's how long this DNA that makes me up has been around. How many times has it lived? I don't know. But I do know I have lived many, many times. And I remember many of the parts of many of the lives that I lived. I was a Mongol. I was a Mongol general. I was a Middle East leader. I was an Alkebulanese shaman. I was an Oriental, I guess, spiritual master in some existence. Yeah. So the answer to the questions, how many are there? How many lives have you led? Okay. Does she have one more question?
Yes, it was one more.
One more. Okay. Who is that singing and rapping? That's us.
Yes, that's
Girl, I'm gonna smack you. Let me.
The hip hop trio consists of Shelly K, Kenya, which we call KK as well.
Right, her sister.
Myself, and the plus is actually Doc.
Yeah.
And we all do singing and dancing, and we create together.
Yeah.
We produce along with McBee.
We write music, we sing the songs, we arrange the music, we perform the music. My wife is one of the major choreographers.
Yes.
We do all the stuff that you hear. I'm not just faking. I'm just not lip syncing. That's me doing the singing on the song.
And I was doing the rapping on that song as well, the second rap. And then we did the third when Shelly was first, then me, and then he.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks
we do
for
that.
asking that question so we can clarify that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, there wasn't another question, was there?
Oh, the other one was she thought you were playing while you were singing. She didn't really understand that we were singing the songs because we were in the song.
She said she was an Oriental warrior too.
Wow.
Doc, don't be playing
I couldn't see
when it's
that.
time to sing.
Yeah, that's what she said.
She had this.
I'm going to play every time it's time to sing. This is my playtime. I thought y'all knew that. I thought everybody understands.
Yes,
this is my playtime. I am playing now.
Yes.
My playtime has always involved teaching.
Yes.
As a child. Playtime at the Woods residence for the children meant that I took all my brothers and younger brothers and sisters outside and taught them something.
And nieces and nephews.
And nieces and nephews, absolutely. Kathy, Karen, Carrie, Kevin, Andre, Tootie, Danny, Lele. Those are all my brothers, sisters, and nieces and nephews. And I was their teacher. Mm-hmm. And every day, I taught them what I had learned in school that previous day. Every day. And we had class every day. And every day, I had fun. Because I played. Okie dokie. Let me see if I got one more thing to ask you here. Okay, good first step. what Joey B said, except that sharing inside info, preventing extremist group recruitment, I don't know how, and improve prosecution, he doesn't seem to be doing that, would only be effective if you did number 4, tackling the endemic causes, ignorance, stupidity, fear. Okay. Yeah. Primarily a problem for our political leaders, community, faith, and social leaders. I would add educational and health leaders as well. Rising to this challenge is the core text of our democracy today. And it's not soon. It's now. It's happening now. Especially for the 18 to 25-year-olds who make up the major demographic that has the most to lose and the most to gain from the direction our nation is headed toward now. These are not new problems, but the results of not eliminating the old ones like slavery. Oh yeah, let's go to that. I'm going there. The building of this nation was done through slavery. It has never gotten away from slavery. Our country has never eliminated slavery. They've just changed how it functions. What does the 13th Amendment say? Slavery shall be abolished except when you have been convicted of a crime. So all I got to do is convict you of a crime and you are a slave.
Like to shout out our son George on that because he kind of brought that up again this week. We've talked about this several times.
It is true.
And,
the girl down in Columbus who wrote the book about the 13th Amendment?
Yes, Michelle Alexander.
Michelle Alexander. The 13th Amendment did not eliminate slavery. It simply changed it. We still have slavery right now.
Oh,
George
George.
Walker. Wonderful.
Hey, George.
We need more information like
Continue
that.
to be blessed.
Continue to stay blessed.
Madase, dear son.
Madase, George. Thank you so very much,
Yes.
my brother. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Last but not least, Rachel Maddow on October the 24th goes through the case of Jacob Y.O.U and Jack Berkman here in Cleveland for creating a totally false robocall that featured an Alkebulanese female saying mail-in voting would give police, credit, and debt agencies your personal contact information. It doesn't. That's a lie. But for that illegal voter suppression, these two men, 2 years later, were allowed to plead guilty to one charge of illegal voter suppression. 16 other charges were then dropped since they did the same scheme in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and several other states. And they received as punishment a sentence of 1 year in jail.
1
Now,
year.
1 year in jail means that they'll do 9 months. Didn't I tell you earlier that this thing that Joey B had come up with to stop all this crap was jacked up because it says improve prosecution? This is not improved prosecution. 2 years after they commit a crime, you give them 9 months.
That don't work.
I got a major problem with this case. It took 2 years to do this bit. William Penn in the 17th century stated, to delay justice is injustice. Martin Luther King in his letter from a Birmingham jail said, justice too long delayed is justice denied. This plainly racially motivated effort at voter suppression is rooted in pink male fear of the effects of Alkebulanese thought, understanding, and desires. Plus, they are losing numbers, like 70 going north. Their birth rate is less than 1. Ours is about 3. Hispanics are about 5. Unfortunately, the inability of pink people to recognize, articulate, and describe this problem is at the very heart of our present and future difficulties.
Yes.
I said last but not least a couple times, this is still last. You can't change anything until you first recognize, identify, and focus on what is wrong or disabling. You can't change directions until you stop going in the direction that you're already going in.
Yeah.
And pink people don't want to do that. You can't stop doing what you are doing until you recognize / admit what you are doing and why.
Ashe.
You can't change what you can't see. You can't change what you're not willing to look at. How can you walk away from what you never admit ever existed? That's where pink people are right now. And that's where they want us to be. It's like trying to awaken from a nightmare you are constantly asleep through. Try to undo something you tell yourself was never really done. Try to undo that. Try to undo racism that you say doesn't exist. Try to undo slavery that you say is gone.
Yeah.
Try to undo all of those things that pink people keep telling us is not a problem. And we keep telling them, you're a lie.
Yeah.
It's not only a problem, it is destroying this country.
It's a burden to the world.
Try to undo something that's somebody else's fantasy. Sorry, no sale. Not where truth, facts, history, science, and reality matters. And they do. Okay. Is that it?
That's it. We did what needed to be done.
Law Roach. Legendary. Okay, and in closing, as usual, peace.
Peace, y'all.
Which stands for
Proper education always corrects error.
You made it to the end of the video. Well, I am tired a little bit differently. I'm dressed as Baba Amwa. If you would like more of your own understanding, like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
And go to the sites that we have listed around us. The Most High is good.
And the ancestors are kind.
Thanks
for having us on your minds.
Peace.